Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown here with Ryan Graham,
Hey, y'all.
Tim Thurber,
Hello.
and this is State of Atlanta.
Had to finish that last beer real quick.
You're allowed to actually have one beer open and then open a second beer. There's not like they don't get offended.
Just gotta drink a little faster though, right?
Or, and hear me out, I can have an empty glass ready for my beer when I open it.
Oh, there's also that as well. All right, guys. 2-0. 2-0 on the season.
Woo!
Second time this has ever happened in Georgia State history. Gonna possibly take it to 3-0.
Yeah, I think that's definitely on the agenda and doable.
Yeah.
Whoever scheduled this is a master.
It's definitely a lot better than starting off with two Power 5 conference teams to begin the season, right?
Easy, right?
Unless you beat those two Power 5 teams, and then
that would have been awesome.
Well, and based on the interview that people will hear after this, I'm thinking that we're probably a good matchup against Charlotte, just like we kind of were for UCONN, right? The UCONN was a lot of similar type talk. I think they're like similar teams, is what it sounds like, and that's a good matchup for us. So
I think UConn was a little more when we interviewed him. He was a little more certain that they were going to beat us.
we'll talk about UConn. We'll talk about Charlotte, but yeah, the UConn guy had a little more confidence in it than.
Well, what's he know? He's never even been to a game.
It's also true.
It's also a fact.
So So how are you feeling about Georgia State after these two games? You thinking that this is it? We actually have a competent team. I'm not saying you're predicting 12-0 or anything. I'm just saying, do you feel like we actually have righted the wrongs and we got a good team that we can get behind now?
Ryan?
Oh, why? No, you go.
No, I still think we're growing. I think there's still more to do. Defense looked better. Offense looked good. I still say Granger could run the ball more. I know you had a lot of yards, but one of those was a 65-yard run, Ryan. So subtract 65 off his total.
I won't. He earned those 65 yards. I will not remove them.
He could just run the ball a little more.
All right.
I always ask a question because I have my response already locked and loaded onto the whole thing. And it was, while I do think that the team looked really good against UConn, we did get lucky in a lot of respect. We were pinned back on the 5-yard line and had to punt the ball, which turned into a dropped catch by UConn that we recovered the ball on. What was it, the 30 or the 40 or something like that, which set up the second touchdown of the game, I believe. But we got lucky in a lot of respects. So
I mean, you have more detail of the game than I do. I was less sociable. I was more like watching the game, but I was still at a 7:00 kick, and I went back to the president's suite. So I drank there for free for a while, and I had a good time, I promise. But the game itself, a little rough for me.
A little blurry there, but that maybe that just because it was the blackout and it was just harder to see players on the field.
Well, they told me to black out, and so like I tried my darndest.
That's not what they meant by blackout, right? No, I don't want to take anything away from what the team did because Granger and Carroll just seem to be like firing on all cylinders right now.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know.
Granger had 94 yards on the ground, I think. And like over 100 in the first game or something like that. I don't have the stats in front of me, but what?
Yeah, I don't have any kind of stats in front of me.
The guy is obviously doing some things on his feet, and really, I have been super impressed. Even though I was super confident in him already, I was faking it, and he's proven me right. So
you're just shocked that you're actually right about something.
I was like, you know what? Let's roll with it. Like the worst thing that'll happen here is I'm wrong, and the best thing that'll happen is if I'm right. And so like, it's more fun to just to roll with it. And like Granger is just proving me right.
Well, what I like about it is you can tell he's having fun out there too. Like he bounces up after these short little runs or whatever, and he's pumped and excited. He's ready to get back to the line and do it all over again. But yeah, that 65-yard run for a touchdown, that was just like, I watched. You say I'm more versed in it. I just watched the highlights, like half hour.
I watched that again. That highlight.
Yeah, I
So-
did like half an hour ago, so I'm like, really, it's just really fresh on the mind. I only have like 1 or 2 vodkas since then, and but no, like he just kind of like got up, started looking at his reads, and he saw that it was wide open, the dead center, and like, all right, I got this, and no one could catch up with him. Which I also thought was funny watching Marcus Carroll because in the first game against whoever the hell we played, Rhode Island, like when Carroll broke through for a long run, he let the guys catch up to him. But no, not this time. He kicked into overdrive,
like,
afterburner.
nah, we're going.
It's like I'm not letting a team catch up to me again. Once I break through, I'm going all the way to the house, and which is what he did. So yeah, it's just it's a fun combination to watch. It was like Quad and Destin Coates back, that season before everything fell apart.
It's like what?
Back when Quad and Dustin Coates was it the 2020
Oh yeah.
season, 2020 season where they were both just knocking out of the box every time, playing well.
I don't know. It's hard to say any of our teams did that.
Well, yes, it's we had a combination. We
maybe
either
for us.
Yes, we had
a little 1-2
combinations.
combo. That's true.
Yeah.
I like Quad was always like sort of a step down. I don't know. We're doing all right though.
Yeah, no.
I'm excited about this season. That's what I'm taking out of this is like we're winning the games we're supposed to win so far, which is like we don't normally do that, right? And so like I am excited, and we're not like making it close. I know people were upset that like Rhode Island hung with us a little bit, but that's fine. I mean, you go watch the UGA games against FCS teams, and like the FCS team hangs for a bit. I mean, they always do, and then they turn it on and they figure it out. I think they're all just trying some new things against competition that they know like they can do that with. Now, I did think they pulled in the second and third string people. I feel like that happened, and it happened relatively early. It was like 35-14 or something, and I saw like a bunch of second stringers come in.
No, if I'm not
like, what the
mistaken,
hell?
if I'm not mistaken, it's when we got that 28-0 lead. That's when Coach Elliott started pulling some of the starters. Now Granger played the entire game.
Yeah.
He took every snap, and I think Marcus was out there with him as well. But on the defense side of things, I think they pulled some guys, get them rested a little bit, get some experience as everybody else. Which, man, as a Georgia State team, as hell as an Atlanta team, to start pulling starters at some point, that's just not something I'm used to.
No,
I'm not used to seeing that.
I still am like, as an Atlanta fan, I'm like, no, it's too early because it was like early-ish in the game too. I felt like it like there was still plenty of time on the clock where I was just sort of like, hey, let's like maybe take your foot off the gas, but maybe let's not play other players right now. Let's maybe we'll play a little more conservative ball, but like I don't know. It made me nervous. I was like, I don't feel good about this.
Well, Coach Elliott saw something that he felt confident in being able to do it, and it worked out. I mean, granted, we did give up 2 touchdowns. That's why this ends up being one of those games where you're like, well, it was 35-14, but it wasn't even that close. Like, one of those kind of cliche type terms. But yeah, probably because we did pull a lot of our defensive guys and allow them to do some stuff. But I'll take it. I'll take a 35-14 win against UConn to go 2-0 for the season, staring straight ahead to a team that we on paper should beat handedly, to be 3-0 for the first time in the season.
Yeah,
I love it. That's when the script turns though, because then we have a short week. We're playing Coastal Carolina. Not
sorry,
that I want to
you
look.
got me right when I was taking
I know,
a swig.
not that I want to look ahead. 2 weeks. All that matters right now is beating Charlotte. But being that it is a Thursday game and they're playing some FCS team, so they're getting kind of a cupcake game before.
They're not that good. It's not a cupcake game for them.
I don't think that good either.
We do it. I mean, we cannot overlook Charlotte. I think we've proven that over and over and over again. Like, in the interview, I don't actually know what the record is, but like, I said, we're always supposed to win this game. I think like every single time we've been picked to win, and we don't. we just don't win it.
You said that before. We're 2-2 against them.
All right,
we're 2-2 against them, and
we're supposed to be 4-0 though.
And this is the first team, the only, to my knowledge, the only team, or to my recollection, the only team we've ever shut out, and that was up there in Charlotte.
That's true.
You know, it was. I think. Oh man, I just realized. When I was talking to that Hunter dude, I think I started talking about Conway and Myrtle Beach instead of Charlotte. Oops. Oh well. Um, but yeah, no. So Charlotte as a program has not done anything to make it look like this is a team that we should be worried about. We should always beat them.
We should. Yep.
Based off what they've done, we should always be beating them. So
absolutely. And we should be playing them. So like because that's they're a close metro center. I really do love that we've played them for so many years now. I hope we can continue that.
Yeah,
do you
nothing's on the schedule, but
looks like it was a 2-2 or.
Well, we played them like we did a home and home back in like 2015, 2016, and then we're doing the same thing here in 2022 and 2023. They're not on the schedule, any future schedule for us. We do have a UAB for a four series or 4-game series, which is another team that I think we should be playing on a regular.
UAB should be on our out of conference every year, if not our in conference.
Well, in conference would be so Ryan's on Team American now. Get us in the American Conference.
No, we'll see how those TV money negotiations go, because I'm thinking that we're gonna be all right in the Sun Belt.
Well, the thing is, every time that I've looked at any kind of combination that put us in the American, there's always that split between the Georgia and Alabama school. So I'm like, one of the reasons why I want to play in the American is to play UAB on the regular, but not if they're going to be the closest school to us and we don't play them every single season.
Yeah.
Charlotte obviously would end up being the same. But then, my personal thing, wanting to play Memphis every season too, which we'd get out of if we were in a American East.
The Sun Belt should figure out how to recruit Memphis into it.
That's what, if you follow the Sun Belt message board, that's what they want. They say that the two teams, the only two teams that Sun Belt should expand for right now are ECU and Memphis. And
it'd be pretty sweet. I mean, the thing is, when they announced Marshall and USM, less JMU and ODU, but when they announced those two schools, I was like, man, that's actually like,
oh yeah,
proving a point. Like, we are now us like rising up, and like, I don't know, it just felt really good. And Memphis would be another one of those, it'd be like another level up.
On a different level.
It'd be another level up, right?
Yeah, I mean, their aspirations are far greater than what the Sun Belt is right now. I would love to see them in there, but they don't want to play. They don't want to play in Sun Belt. They want to be in a power. We all want to be in a power conference.
But nobody wants to play in Memphis.
I mean, if BYU had turned down, who was it? The Big 12. Excuse me, the Big 12. Memphis would probably be in the Big 12 now.
I don't know if that's true.
That was the Houston, Cincinnati, and UCF. And Memphis were the 4 schools that it looked like Big 12 was going to bring in until they brought in BYU, and Memphis got left to the wayside. So now Memphis is like, what can I do? Where can I go? There was talks with the PAC. There's talks with the ACC. There's all that kind of stuff going on. So
Sun Belt. And they fit the. I think if Memphis and ECU. I've always had a thing for ECU. I think it's partly the purple, partly the giant skull and crossbone deal, and then also just their fan love.
And you like purple. You like purple. So.
I did. That's what I said. So, but the lower tier. I mean, for a lower tier football program, which they are and we are, they have a lot of fan interaction. Like their fans show up, right? They got a big stadium, fans fill it up, they're loud, they're awesome. So I love to see that kind of thing. That's one of the reasons I like App State. I feel like does a pretty good job with that, and some other programs. So that's where we need to be. So I look at them and I'm like, we should play the people that we want to look like.
I agree. Well, and then Memphis is another university that's in a metro area. Granted, Memphis is nowhere near the size of Atlanta.
It's garbage too.
And it is also very much garbage, but
sorry, I have Memphis things like you have New Orleans things. I'm just like, man, Memphis is just. Ugh.
Oh no, I mean, being from Memphis, you would think that I would have like some kind of like nostalgia for being being home or whatever. But no, I my grandfather passed away recently, and when I left the funeral, my family was like, "Are you ever going to come back here now?" It's like he was the only reason I'd go back to Memphis was to see him.
Well, when Georgia State plays Memphis, I'll come back.
They're on the schedule. Memphis is going to be playing here in like what 2025 or 2026 or something like that. Which maybe I can get my family to leave Memphis and for the game and
Yeah, just invite them.
just stay here. Just like, all right, cool. This is
You're
where
here
you
now.
live now.
Do you really want to drive back through Mississippi to leave? Like, I doubt it.
Yeah. So no, I'd like a conference where if Georgia State was in a conference with Memphis, UAB, and Charlotte, that's a dream conference.
That's a good one.
Outside of being in an SEC or something like that. Those are the types of schools that I think that Georgia State needs to be affiliated with.
Wait, so what conference is UAB in?
They're the American. They were the first one.
So you would save them. You would say Sun Belt should expand to pull them in.
Yes. So whereas the message board fodder was Memphis and ECU, UAB is number one on my list. I get ECU. I understand why, and I do think they would fit into the conference very well.
Fits. Yeah.
But if ECU were to join by themselves right now, that potentially pushes Georgia State into the west side of the Sun Belt, which we would probably dominate because there's no real good schools over there.
Dominate like nobody, who cares?
But if you bring in ECU and UAB, you have the same problem where we're not playing UAB because they're in the West, and ECU would be, we'd still be in the East. So,
yeah,
we're in a very odd position in the conference, whether it be Sun Belt or American, as far as who we'd play. And I as much as I don't care for the Sun Belt, I still get upset and annoyed that we don't play Troy every single year. Troy, is the
very
closest school to us right now.
I mean,
I think we. Yes, exactly. Troy State.
Right.
We should be playing them. So,
yeah, no, I mean, so Troy is really close, and they should. And it's sort of weird to consider a world where like an Atlanta team is in the West. That doesn't make any sense, right? Like,
no. Don't you remember when the Falcons were in the NFC West and they played the 49ers all the time? Like, there's a rivalry with the Falcons have a rivalry with the 49ers. Because of playing in the NFC West with us and the garbage in the Bayou.
Yeah.
Garbage in the Bayou. GIB. I don't know. Tim.
Bayou.
What is your magic conference of teams for Georgia State to be in? We talked about ECU and Charlotte and Memphis and UAB.
You named all of them so far.
Yeah, right. That's basically it. That's basically it, right?
Would you have TDS in it?
No, I don't want to. I don't want to live in a world where I have no problem with playing TDS out of conference every single year, but I have zero interest in being in a conference with them.
So you want it like Georgia Tech. You want them somewhere else, but accessible to play when you want them.
I would accept that, but I don't think I think it's doubtful that it would happen if we were not in the conference with them. But the thing is you go to that game and students show up, lots of fans show up. We talk about it. That's the message board fodder. This is like how you grow a program, is having a good rivalry. And I think Georgia Southern does that. And I'll even say their name like that because respect in that front, rivalry.
Yeah. I will not respect them in such a way.
I know.
No.
I didn't expect anything.
I'm fine with playing them every single year out of conference. I don't want to be in a if we're supposed to if being in a conference is supposed to be being peer institutions, I don't want to be in a conference with the Trash Down South. That's not a peer institution. Let's be in a conference with universities that are more like us and let them go to the Conference USA or something.
Why do you care about that so much? I don't understand.
I'm petty and I don't like anybody from there.
So it doesn't mean anything really.
Oh no! I mean, this is all based off of
emotion. Like Alabama is not a peer university, but you'd be in a conference with Bama, wouldn't you?
As long as Trash Down South isn't in it.
They can't be in our conference. That's it. Like
I just want to be in the conference with them. I don't want to be in the conference. That's it. I don't want to be in the conference. Like no more than one school per state.
No, but you talk about peer universities a lot, not just about TDS. So that's why I was curious about like why that specifically stands out, because it does seem really important to you, and I'm just I don't understand. I don't feel like it's that important, but I know you do, so I'm curious.
I think that maybe just influence from conversations I've had with other people and things you read online, like the big statement that athletic directors don't pick conferences. University presidents do. University presidents want to be associated with similar universities. They want that national perception of their university. They don't want to be drugged down by. But don't you guys play against the Trash Down South every
Liberty?
season?
Would you? Yeah, they're in there. Would you pick up Tulane or no? Because it's New Orleans.
That is the outlier in my pettiness.
Okay.
I am ready to accept Tulane and their New Orleans stuff if it means that we're in a conference with universities like that.
I heard their name pop up at the tailgate as somebody who would be a potential coup to pull in, but I don't want it.
Pick your Florida team. You got USF, FAU, and FIU. Obviously, FIU is not the one you want, but it's too.
Yeah, FIU and FAU makes sense. Being that Miami Boca area, but just program wise, I would pick UCF over those. I mean,
well, they're P5 now though. I thought we were talking G5s.
Okay, yeah.
So you got to say USF.
Yeah, UCF is not on the table.
They elevated away.
I like the idea of playing, being in a conference with a Florida school. It's just, man, that really does stretch that footprint of the conference. And that's fine. It's a flight, whatever. Everybody wants to go to Florida. I'm okay.
People don't realize how big Florida is, though, man. Once you get into South Florida, that's a freaking hike, man. Like you ain't driving down there.
Florida really should be 2 states. The Panhandle and the rest of the state should be like. I've always maintained that, like, my mom's from Arkansas, my dad's from Mississippi, I'm from Tennessee. I grew up in Georgia, but the biggest rednecks I've ever seen are the Panhandle of Florida.
Well, it's South Alabama, so
and South Georgia.
Yeah. Oh, so you would extend it like all the way over to the coast?
Yeah, all the way across. Yeah, make another Oklahoma looking state. And
would you dip down it to like pick up Gainesville, maybe Daytona Beach, or would you have that board a little higher?
You know the geography of Florida a lot better than me. I'm thinking right around that Orlando mark or something around there is where you make it.
I think Daytona would be included in the South Alabama region.
For sure.
Daytona gets included in that state.
Absolutely. I'm surprised Daytona is not in South Alabama.
Yeah.
How far north do you want to go? I mean, do you want a team like ODU or Marshall or JMU even in this new conference? It's too far north, right?
The only school that, all right, so 2 things. One, like what Ryan was saying before, the respect that came along with Marshall joining the university. I'm okay with Marshall. That's not a team I would normally pick, but I'm okay with Marshall. I'm okay with Appy State. They've done everything right. They don't fit the profile by any stretch.
They demand respect though, and they get it. So
so I'd be fine with that. And there was some talk. I think we talked about it in the Patreon chat. There's some talk that with American losing SMU, that Army's their first pick, but Appy State is in the talks. Now, in the talks could mean they're talking about them, but Appy State's not returning any phone calls at all. We don't know. Yeah, whatever. And I was like, my initial reaction was that is exactly what the Mountaineers would do. They would just tuck tail and run away from us before we get a chance to beat them in conference. We'll never get a chance to actually.
That would be a big hit to our conference. I feel like they do give us some good clout, and that would be a big hit if we got them taken away.
It would be, but I just don't see them wanting to join the American. That doesn't fit their shtick, their profile. They're like the Southern. They're like all these small town schools. That's not the American. It's not.
Yeah. And they've got to see the same thing we're seeing with the Sun Belt sort of slowly flipping and like being seen as the top G5 conference. Like we are now. I mean, more people are saying we are the top than aren't, right? So it's like, all right, it's only a matter of time until this is just the top one, like AAC was.
You know who we haven't not talked about? Would you take any school? Maybe I can see 2 teams out of the current Conference USA.
Okay, I don't even know who's in conference.
I don't actually know. Yeah, who's in it?
No, Liberty. But if this is actually easy. I don't need to know who's in
Western
Conference
Kentucky
USA.
And
I don't need to know who's in Conference
Middle
USA now.
Tennessee, that's it.
All I need to know is who is left, and who got left behind was Western Kentucky, Middle Tennessee, La
Louisiana
Tech,
Tech, yeah.
and UTEP. So out of that, I mean, Western Kentucky, not really doesn't again, not fitting that profile of a urban university or anything, but they got good basketball. They're historically they draw well. Ryan gets a chance to go visit his family every other year for a game.
I mean, that'd be
So,
rad. Really, that's the reason I would pick.
That'd be a
Western
bonus.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
And I know that Middle Tennessee State tries to claim the Nashville market, which they don't really get. But I would, similar to how Ryan says that, the only reason you'd go to a game in the Trash Down South is to make a Savannah weekend out of it. The only reason I'd go to an MTSU game is to make a Nashville weekend out of it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would go spend my time there. So those two.
But even that could be a trip to see my family because I mean they're both like in the Metro Nashville area, extended Metro Nashville area.
Nashville's in between Bowling Green and Murfreesboro.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Like those two programs would be cool for that, and they have a long history and have been decent through that history. I think they're not that good now, but
like I said before, like those were two of the schools that I was excited about having on the regular rotation when Georgia State moved up to the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
Before they tucked tail and ran to I used tuck tail twice. Is that gonna be the episode title?
Tuck tail.
Tuck tail. Yeah.
Yeah. I think 2-0 maybe. I mean, come on.
I would look at Conference USA kind of like a bar. All the teams are at the bar. Everyone's like vibing, drinking. People are getting picked up, going home with each other. And then it's 2 a.m. and all of a sudden, all you have left are those teams. And that's it. And you're like,
it's like
at least they get to keep drinking. I mean, that's a bare minimum. But
am I going home with Jacksonville State or Kennesaw State or Sam Houston?
No, you just go home or you just keep drinking.
Yeah. No. So Jacksonville State. Do you think that we should play Jacksonville State?
No.
They're super close. They're super close. They're closer than Bama or UAB. They're closer than UAB. I'm pretty sure they're closer than Troy. Do you think we should play Jacksonville State?
No. I mean, you've been to their stadium.
And then not even for the history, not for you and me, Ryan, to go rekindle some memories about hanging out together.
Nah.
I agree. I don't want to play there either.
I don't need that. I could rekindle the memory at the bar, whatever.
For anybody wondering, it's nothing that scandalous. That's just we'd hung out before. That was the first tailgate that Ryan and I actually kind of I think became buddies.
Yeah,
and really tailgated together because there wasn't a large crowd. It was pretty much like
I spotted you in the field and was like, all right.
Yeah. It was like us.
There's a guy in a blue shirt.
Yeah. Well, it was like us and like two other tailgaters from our regular orange lot setup, and we kind of just like before because we had a pretty, our tailgates now are fantastic, the best we've ever had, but our orange lot tailgates were almost as big.
Was I brown lot before Jacksonville State though? I feel like maybe me and Derek were in the brown lot.
You may have been. I feel like I already met you. Maybe you and Derek had done a walkabout, or I had done a walkabout and had met you or something. But anyhow, the Jacksonville State game is the first time that you and I really became buds. It's probably when we got we exchanged our phone numbers.
Right.
Became Facebook official.
Yeah.
But no, I don't want to play Jacksonville State. I saw a lot of schools in the Sun Belt started scheduling them after they moved up to Conference USA. The Trash Down South, I think Coastal played. Did Coastal play them already this year? Or maybe, I think Coastal may have played them already. Yeah, Coastal played them. I think they opened up the season. They played Jacksonville State. And I don't really have an interest in playing them. After everything I said about playing UAB and Troy out of proximity, I just have zero interest in Jacksonville State.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, you've seen the facilities, right? I mean, it's like, whatever.
They've got to be better than what they were then. I mean, they were nice for them.
For a high school.
They were nice for them.
Like we used to play basketball in a high school gym. They played football in a high school field.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember watching that game on like whatever was it? It wasn't ESPN Plus. Some weird camera.
Yeah, that didn't exist back then. Yeah.
And it was like, where are they playing this? Like an intramural field in a public park somewhere.
When you walk to your seats, they didn't have tunnel. I mean, they had tunnels, but it was basically walkways to the field, and you actually had to walk through the players' like walkway, like their path to the field was interrupted by people just going through the concession stands and stuff like that. So
No way.
yeah,
That's insane.
yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
interacted more with the team there than we had at any other point in time in our history at that point.
It's
They
like
had
so
to fix that. Come on.
their locker rooms were separate from the actual stadium, so they had to like leave the locker room, walk outside, go through the concourse if people walk into their seats to get to the field.
I'm looking at it now. It looks like they must have improved it. I think.
I don't know.
Maybe not.
He might just be getting them angles, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
You know, the
Hey,
angles.
are we going to play Kennesaw State?
Look, I mean, so that is a benefit of Kennesaw State would be basically 2 home games. You know, like it'd basically be an extra home game when we played Kennesaw, even at their house.
Can we get on one of those Turner Field? I mean, Truist Park games.
Truist Park. No, it's that. So, do you guys would you want to play? Would you want to play at Kennesaw State?
Because if they were in our conference, we'd have to. But you know,
I don't know. I'm not talking conference. I'm just talking about playing Kennesaw State in general. Like, I'm okay with putting Kennesaw State on the rotation every 2, 3, 4 years to come down to Center Park to play. I don't think I want to play. I don't think that this program has any reason to play up in Kennesaw at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not terribly interested in it at all, except for how close they are. That'd be cool. Tim?
Tourist only. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's it.
So we always have the neutral site game.
They either come here or we play neutral. That's it. We're never coming to your house ever.
I mean, I guess the one way I'd be okay with playing there is if we did the 2-for-1 thing. We get them at home twice, and we play them there once.
We go neutral once.
That's like the non-paying way to establish your dominance over a program. Is like, you know, obviously when like LSU's paying us whatever 900,000, 1.2 million. I have no idea how much we're getting paid to play that game. But like the other the other way of saying that I'm a better program than you is, all right, cool. You come here twice, and I'll give you 1 game. You know, and so I think I'd probably be okay with that if we said, all right, we'll play you, but it's a 2-for-1.
All right,
but not Jacksonville.
I'm with
State.
that. No. That's never a 2-for-1.
No.
That's a once every 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah. Well, so like I think the Trash Down South back in their FCS days was on a regular 4-year rotation with Athens.
Mm-hmm.
They played every 4 years, and that's kind of the way I look at Kennesaw State as an opponent. It's a team that I would play every 4 years at home. I know that they're in Conference USA. I know that they're now FBS, or they'll be next year.
Y'all, LSU's paying us $1.6 million.
1.6? That's got to be the most we've ever gotten paid.
I feel like it is, because I thought 1.2 was like our high point very recently.
Inflation is a real thing, people.
They should be paying some of us to go watch the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Take us
out there. It's not that much more.
1.6? Damn.
That's what the Googler tells me.
Holy shit.
Should I share my dream that I had that I put on the group chat about LSU?
Yeah, sure. With Randy Moss.
Yeah, I had this dream that I was sitting in some like little small office room talking to Randy Moss and somebody else, and the fact that it was Randy Moss had very little to do with the conversation, but I just kept on wanting him to like, will you just record hi, I'm Randy Moss, and this is State of Atlanta, the kind of promos that you hear on radio stations and stuff like that. But then I'm like, why are you here? And I don't know why I was there. And he was investigating LSU for improprieties in their athletic program that were going to lead to Georgia State winning the game by forfeit. And this was when that was it the coach of
I would take it.
Was it Mel Tucker, the coach of where is the coach of? They just had to step down by all that weird stuff happening over there. And I don't know if that has seeped into my brain or something, but either way, Randy Moss, this is State of Atlanta, and LSU forfeiting to Georgia State.
All right. Now, maybe that's a sign you need to get Randy Moss on here.
I'll work on that. Yeah, I'll work on that.
Maybe
He's
a live cameo or something. I don't know.
he's a Bama guy or a Mississippi guy. He's from Mississippi or Alabama. I keep on picking at my lip. This is weird. He keeps on. He's from Mississippi or Alabama or something like that, right? Because if you
No
hear
idea.
if you hear him talk on the pregame shows, he sounds like he's from Mississippi or Alabama. He's probably from.
I do not listen to him talk on the pregame shows.
He's probably from Virginia.
I was gonna say I have no idea what he sounds like. I mean I do, but I don't know what his speaking style is like. I think Randy Moss.
Does he sound
Randy
anything
Moss
like
style.
Pat? Does he sound anything like Pat McAfee from the Sports
No,
Center?
no. He sounds more like the coach from Billy Madison.
Okay.
It's about right.
Yeah, he's got good old country. He got a good old country boy voice.
I prefer that. Can we swap him in?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I will take. I don't know what you're asking from me, but I'll accept Randy Moss as the answer, like as the offering every single time. Like, what do you want to take one of my kids away? I get Randy Moss in the trade. Absolutely, I'll take Randy Moss. Which kid? Doesn't matter. Still Randy Moss. I'll take Randy Moss.
I'm just curious, but the answer is yes. I just want to know which one you want.
I gotta know which clothes to pack in the showcase. All right,
2 for 1, 2 for 1, right?
Okay, do I get two kids? Yeah, we established he's the dominant one. He gets the.
Oh boy.
Yeah. All right. So we kind of went off track big time. How are we feeling about Charlotte? We all agree this is going to be another knockdown, drag out, blowout win. We're 3-0 and saying we're going 3-0.
Oh, we're gonna go 3-0, but I don't think all those other things. I'm not ready to do that.
3-0, 38-24. I'm good with it.
Ooh.
38-24. I mean,
we're gonna kick our first field goal of the year.
No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to kick a field goal. I want to go to entire season, no field goals. I want the end of the season. Coach Elliott's going to be like, we wasted an entire scholarship on a kicker.
I would love it. I would. Those interviews would be amazing.
But we to point you made, I didn't realize this. Out of 2 games, we've scored 11 times. It's all touchdowns. We've scored 77 points. I guess technically our kicker to get the point afters. Yeah. But we've never kicked a field goal. And then, as John pointed out, the 2 field goals kicked against us were both shanked. So this is just. Georgia State has not experienced a field goal in 2 games.
Special teams doing all right
on either side of the ball.
Famous last words at Georgia State, though.
I know.
Take it back.
We're gonna lose 6-3 to Charlotte.
That's gonna be a game of all field goals.
There's gonna be no touchdowns.
I'm saying 6-3. That's Ryan's favorite games. Ryan loves the defensive struggles. That was that national
right.
That
I love big sacks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let that one soak in for a second. All right. No, that was like your favorite national championship game. Was that Bama LSU where they won like 9-3 or
3-6?
Yeah,
I loved that. It was really good. Everyone complained about it. I was like, I loved that game. That was amazing to watch.
Ryan walking into work that next day, like the Vince McMahon meme where he's like high stepping the entire time. But guys, it was the greatest game of all time.
No, that's every day, except for Wednesdays, the day after this.
The Wednesdays are rough mornings. All right,
we're probably wrapping up, right?
Last call.
Yeah, last call. Great. Actually, one more thing. So if you looked at our first 2 game scores, remove the teams, and then just said, put the teams back in, would you have reversed the scores? Like our first game was the last score against UConn.
Yeah,
right? Because I would have totally done that reversal easily.
Yeah, if you said like so Georgia State wins one of their first 2 games 35-14. Is it UConn or is it Rhode Island? Yeah, and the other game was what do we even score? I forget what the game of the score was that other game. But yeah, I would probably
45-38 or something like that. Yeah.
We did score. Did we score in the 40s?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, probably.
Just reversed. I was like, this is what Rhode Island should have been, and UConn in my head should have been Rhode Island, score wise.
Not here. I think that we win this game, but what did you said 38-24.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I said the same thing about the Rhode Island game, but we're in the 30s, they're in the 20s. That's kind of where I see it. I think we can hold them. We can hold them under 30. And as Ryan says about not beating App State or Lafayette, until we score less than 30 points, I assume we're going to score more than 30 points. So
No, I do, because our offense is clicking. We have a good offense, and
all right,
so
here's
I
a
think
question.
we'll score in the 30s, and they'll score in the let's say 23. I'll say 38-23.
All right. Who gets more touchdowns, Granger or Carroll? And I'm going to negate any touchdown that is Granger throwing a ball to Carroll.
So this is passing and running though, right?
Right.
Granger.
Okay. What do you say, Tim?
Granger.
Yeah. Well, 'cause he only had one touchdown last week, but Marcus had 3. So
Yeah, I was about to say. So Granger had 2 because he threw one and he ran one.
Oh, that's true. It's true. Yes. Yeah. I was thinking about just on the ground, but yeah.
And Carroll did beat him in the number of touchdowns. I was looking at that just now. So
Yeah. Well, look at you looking at stats and everything. All right. Cool.
I know. I'm interested in it. You know.
This conversation will probably continue over to last call, but I think it's time to wrap it up. I have no idea what time we are because we did the interview earlier. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We're gonna carry this on to last call. You can find it on our Patreon page, patreon.com/State of Atlanta. It's I actually I don't even know if we have the $3 memberships left yet. I think it's $5 and up now to join the Patreon group. You get access to our private group chat, which is a lot of fun. Access to free booze at our tailgates. Discounts on our merchandise. Yeah, well, we need more gimlets. And you get to do the live stream of this, and you get to get early access and all that kind of fun stuff. So please consider joining patreon.com/State of Atlanta. Thanks everybody for listening, and we will talk to you after we're 3-0. Maybe the death of this podcast.
Goodbye, guys.
Peace.
Goodbye, guys.